What is good, Joe? Welcome back to the April. Welcome back to a brand new video, man. We are here. We are back with a brand new video for you guys. Listen, man, the Miami Heat have just blew out the Cavs. This is crazy. Like, this is absolutely like one of the most inconsistent, puzzling teams I've watched in like my life. I could actually predict this one coming. Like, it gets to a point where like if you watch the Heat enough, you kind of see the wins and the losses like before they even happen sometimes. Like, the trick about the Heat is that the games that they have the most pressure to, like, you know, people are like banking on them the most. Oh, this is a game that they can win to, you know, make it easier for themselves. They lose. And then when you count them out and we're like, oh, this is over now, it's not going to happen, they suddenly come out and win. And it's like, that's the recipe for the Heat every single time. It happened last season in the playoffs. It happened in the regular season. It happened this season. It's been happening for a while. It's been happening for a while. And we're going to talk about the Miami Heat and, in essence, why they're the most puzzling, intriguing, frustrating, interesting team in the NBA to watch. Because even as a neutral fan, as a Heat fan, many of our fans don't even know what we're going to get. So as a neutral fan, man, if you guys are watching this video as neutral fans, and if Cavs fans are coming in here talking about, man, we got blown out. Listen, man, we sometimes even don't know what we're going to get from this team. So I can only imagine what you guys are feeling right now. But talking about the Heat, it was a good overall comprehensive performance. And people will talk about the offense. We put up 118 points. But what this all stems from is the defensive end. I firmly believe that, and I will continue to believe that. Now, did we have one player who had 30 points or at least even 20 points? No. I don't think one player cracked 20 points on this team. But everybody contributed. Everybody from top to bottom. We were down 5 players tonight. Obviously, Jay Rich is out for the season, but even without him, we were still down 4 guys. And everybody just played, made an imprint, and stepped up. And the whole reason for that was the effort levels and the energy levels from the start of the game. When this team plays with a sense of urgency, when this team plays with energy, and when this team plays with effort, they are absolutely impossible to score against. This defense, when they are locked in, is the best defense in the NBA. I don't care what the numbers say, but as someone that watches the game, I can look, you know, evidently and be like, when this team locks in and turns on that switch when they want to guard people, they can lock down anybody, any team in the NBA. And I firmly believe that. Which is why in the playoffs, they're always dangerous, because their defense is the catalyst for everything. Now, the offense was a lot better tonight than it was the other night. But were we lights out from offense? No. We put up 118 points. But were we lights out from offense? We didn't shoot lights out from 3. We only shot 37%, which is a solid number, but it could be better. We shot well from the field. I like that we shot well from the field. And we shot well from the free throw line, which has been an improvement. But man, just looking at, you know, the performance from tonight and the performance on Friday, it's almost night and day when you look at the impact of a lot of these guys. Now, it all starts with the hustle, man. It all starts with the hustle stats. Against the Pelicans, we got out-rebounded by 20 plus. And the Cavs are no slouch on the glass. They have 2 really, really tall players in their front court with Evan Mobley and Jarrett Allen. And both of them combined for only 8 rebounds tonight. Combined only had 8 rebounds. Bam himself had 16. It all starts with the hustle stats for this team. And I understand it's a very boring concept. Like, people want to talk about the shots falling and stuff. But when I'm looking at this team, because it's very easy to pick out the fact that our offense performed better, because it did. But anybody could be like, oh, this team scored more points, so they won. Listen, I have some 2-year-old cousins who could tell you that, bro. That's not rocket science. But if you go dissect the game individually, look at every single possession, look at the force, the disposition that this team played with tonight, it was absolutely night and day when you compare it to the disposition that they played with against the Pelicans. And you can evidently see that from the hustle stats on the glass. We out-rebounded the Cavs by 15. We had more assists. We had more points off turnovers. We forced more turnovers. They had 17, which is what I'm saying, man. We had 35 points off of their turnovers. 35. So basically, for every turnover that we forced on them, we at least scored 2 points, because 17 times 2 is basically 35, right? It's 34. So the hustle stats were dominated by the Heat. The rebounding numbers were dominated by the Heat. The defensive statistics, the defensive prowess was won by the Heat. And that is the point that I'm making. When this team guards, when this team wants to play with that energy, when this team wants to lock people up, and when this team wants to play Heat basketball, they are very difficult to beat because of this. And again, like, people will overreact to 1 or 2 games of the season. I don't understand the fans who flip-flop from every game. We know the Heat are inconsistent. Okay, it's no use saying after every win we're gonna win the championship, and after every loss this team is cooked. It's no use saying that. We have to be better. We have to see through all that. We've watched this for 2 seasons almost, where this team has played like this. They got very hot in the playoffs last year because they were locking in defensively, and that led to the spike in their 3-point shooting, because they were playing against a defense that was not set. And that is the reason we won this game tonight, because the Cavaliers defense was rarely set. We were always playing against a defense that was not set, and that's exactly why we had over 30 points in transition, 35 to be exact. And man, it was a very comprehensive performance. I mean, I have nothing more to say besides the fact that this was a very, very good performance. Like, why do the Heat do this? I don't know. I don't know why the Heat suddenly come out for one game and locking in, or coming out for one game and looking flat. The only reason I can say this is because of the effort. And it's always very striking to me that when this team is shorthanded, when they're counted out, when they're missing more players, you see the real Heat team, the Heat culture, the guys who, are dogs. You see that when these guys are shorthanded, or when they're counted out, or when they're not supposed to win a game. But when they have an opportunity to get up the standings and against a team that they're supposed to be beating, they lay an egg. And I don't know if it's because they're too complacent. I don't know if it's because they're overlooking opponents. I would hope it's not that, because every team has the potential to beat you in the NBA, and Erik Spoelstra of all people should know that. I don't know if it's because guys just want to take some plays off sometimes against these teams because they think they can come back and win. I do think it's an issue of getting too comfortable at times. I think I heard Jimmy talking about it last season when he was like, sometimes we get a little too comfortable when we have a lead, which is why you see this team blow leads all the time. This team, when they're laser focused, is one of the top teams in the NBA. I would say it's one of the top 5 teams in the league when they're laser focused and when they're locked in on both ends. But you see that, you see that laser focusedness, you see it in spurts. You don't see it consistently, and that's the problem. That's what we have to figure out. How can this team do this consistently? How can they play like this consistently? And I think it all starts with the effort. It all starts with the defense. From the defense, the offense can get itself going. Do we have any super gifted offensive 3-level scorer? Not really. I mean, Terry's capable, Jimmy's capable at times, but we don't have a Steph Curry on this team or a Luka Doncic on this team who can literally just hit any shot in the world. We don't have that. Okay? What we have is a group of guys who do what they do. They're good at what they do, but none of them are like extremely special offensively as far as scoring the ball. Jimmy can be when he's in that zone, but he doesn't have that, that same pull-up game or that same handle that some of the elite scorers need to have. He's an elite scorer when he turns it on, and it's because he hits a ton of tough shots, and he drives to the rim and he forces so much rotation. But as far as gifted offensively, he's not that. He worked for what he has, and he put the time in. You got to give him respect. But if I'm talking about a player who's gifted and who has that talent, like a Luka Doncic or a Shai Gilgeous-Alexander or like a Jason Tatum or a Steph Curry, like somebody who who has that gift of to score the ball at will and who didn't come into the league to do anything else, unlike Jimmy, who came into the league as a defender, then your offense can revolve around that one guy. But when you have a team that has a team full of guys who do a lot of things well, you have to find that perfect mix. And unfortunately, you know, the recipe of this team has always been to take as many threes as possible. I'm so glad that tonight we only shot 38 threes. I mean, it's not only, I guess it's a good amount, but we shot 10 more threes than we did last game, or 10 less threes than we did last game, which I like. I like that there was more paint attempts. I feel like this team can get very, very reliant on the three ball. When you don't have that go-to guy at times, when Jimmy is not playing engaged, this team tends to settle a lot for jump shots. And I like it when they drive to the rim and force a rotation or force something from the defense. And it really, really helps, again, when you don't play against a set defense, when you play in transition. And that is what I think the difference is between the Heat team that plays well and the Heat team that plays terrible, is the fact that their defense is the catalyst to their offense and to their victories. When the defense is locked in, again, I'm going to repeat itself, man, it is very hard to beat this team. Even if the shots are not falling. Tonight it helped that the shots were also falling. But the calling card of this team should always be the defensive end and the energy. When people play the Heat, they should fear the fact that they're going to get beat up. They're going to get punked. They're going to get, out hustled. They're going to get out muscled. They're going to, not be able to score on them. That is what people should think of when they talk about, I'm facing the Miami Heat tonight. This is what I have to be prepared for. Too many times this season, especially at home, it's been a walk in the park. You had Pelicans players clowning us because of the fact that, we were talking trash about them last game, and they came out and beat us. And that just shows you that they don't really, at least they didn't fear the Heat then. So we got to make this, this arena back into that fortress where it's like, bro, when people come here, when teams come here, they're not going to be able to score. And if they score, it's going to be tough. And if they score, we're going to make it gritty. We're going to make it gritty. We're going to muck things up. We're going to make sure that they have to earn everything. And that's the way the Heat will win games. Do they have some God-gifted offensive talent on their team? No. But do they have a ton of dogs? Yes. And with the dogs on their team, you got to play to your strengths. You got to, play to your best players' strengths. And all of our players, the top players, I guess, on this team, the strength of them is that they're all competitive defensively. Their two best players, Jimmy and Bam. If you had to look at their two best attributes, I would say they both lie on the defensive end. Obviously, they're gifted not gifted. They're able to score offensively, but the defense is the calling card, and it should always be the calling card of this team. And that is a takeaway for me as far as why the Miami Heat are the most inconsistent team in the NBA, and why they somehow just win games where you don't expect it and somehow lose games where you expect them to win. And this is the reason. It's the effort, it's the defense, it's the consistency with their energy levels, it's their motor, their drive, hustle stats. It all starts with that, and that in regard leads to everything offensively and everything else when you look at coaching and every other stat you want to look at. So that's it, man. I'm gonna end it here. Make sure y'all drop a like, subscribe, and comment down below. Again, hit that post notification button if you guys want to get more videos as quickly as possible. And yeah, man, I'll see you later as always. Peace.